775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And of course, we celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. I love the idea of celebrating. You know, in these times where there's so many people that are so upset about so many things, social media driving everybody crazy, it's always nice to have something to celebrate. National Train Your Brain Day, National Yorkshire Pudding Day. Okay. And we must say thank you because today is the birthday of the United States Navy. Thank you, all the men and women who serve or have served in the United States Navy, and in that sense, all areas of the armed forces. So Navy's birthday, thank you. We appreciate you. We honor you. And boy, if it wasn't for you, many of us in the line of work that I'm in, doing a little radio in the morning, doing some leading a lending team in the afternoon, yeah, we couldn't do that if it wasn't for the men and women of our armed forces. Happy birthday, Navy. Moving right along, let's see what else is going on in the world today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 88 points, almost 89 points. S&P 500 down 10 points. NASDAQ up 33. We like seeing the NASDAQ being up. That's a good one right there. We report them. Oil up 78 cents a barrel. That sometimes will help our economy. I know that we like low gas prices, but having oil at a profitable mark, that is helpful for our economy as a whole. National average gallon of gasoline, $2.18.1, down from $2.18.7 yesterday. Calizuela average 320.4 here in Calizuela, second only to Hawaii. And if we look over probably Mississippi, $1.85.7, $1.85.7 is what they're paying in Mississippi. Great prices there. We're in Calizuela. We don't get the benefit of those numbers, but we'll just take what we have. We got great weather here. We don't have to worry about any hurricanes coming to visit us this week. 10-year Treasuries down about 4 basis points, 0.736. So if you recall, I had been telling you that we were watching that line at 0.78 on the 10-year Treasury. So we've been holding that. Good news for those people who are contemplating buying a house, or those who haven't taken action yet and are thinking still about refinancing a house. If you haven't taken action, give a call to the team and see if it makes sense for you. There is a lot going on right now in the interest rate world. I highly recommend, I don't know if it's right for you or wrong for you, but I do know one thing with 100% certainty. The education is right for you. Understanding what's going on in the marketplace, understanding what your options are, maybe consolidating a little debt. It's amazing how many people in the last couple of months that we've been helping to wipe out debt Now, I always consult with them and say, you know something? Just get rid of the debt. Don't close the trade line. If it's a credit card, continue using that credit card. Go out there and buy a cup of coffee. And as I've told you many, many times, the strategy of the frozen credit card. Maybe I'll talk about the frozen credit card later on in the broadcast. Have you heard about the strategy of the frozen credit card that will increase your credit scores? Yeah, that one, a lot of people don't understand it, but the strategy of the frozen credit card can increase your credit scores dramatically. And I'm going to show you, I'll put right there on the screen, strategy beats rate every time. Strategy beats rate every single time. So if you don't understand the strategy of the frozen credit card, we're going to chat about that a little bit later on in the broadcast. I'll get that information to you. Let's see what's going on in the daily briefing. Amy Coney Barrett is facing questions as I speak right now. Senate going over, they're trying to, what's going on in the Senate? It fascinates me just listening to what the senators, their assumptions. And you know what assumption stands for, right? So you listen to a lot of, and it goes both ways. I'm not going to say it's just the Democrats or it's just the Republicans, but the assumptions are fascinating to me. Because if you think that you know the way a United States Supreme Court justice is going to vote in any single matter, just take a look at the last, 3-4 years, what's happened with Chief Justice John Roberts. Everyone had the assumption how he would vote on the Unaffordable Care Act. Wrong. They had the assumption how he was going to vote in many other cases. Wrong. Yet they still go on with these things where they can try to make an assumption of how Judge Amy Coney Barrett will vote in Roe v. Wade. We don't know that. How she'll vote in the Unaffordable Care Act. We don't know that. Although you got to believe that most elected officials are not happy with the Unaffordable Care Act. Why? Well, as many as 7 of the Democrat candidates for president in their primaries, as including Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they both wanted to go with Medicare for all. If the Unaffordable Care Act, Obamacare, was so great, why did they want to change it? Why did they want to scrap it? However, when the president says that he wants to change it, make it better, that's no good. And what has the president done to make it better, make the healthcare better, more affordable in our country? Here's the fascinating one. He's cut prescription drug prices. He's come out with an executive order that says that the Medicare system cannot pay any more than what other countries are paying for specific drugs. Think about that. Who does that benefit? Who does that harm? Well, we know who doesn't like it, Big Pharma. Right? They put all their money against the president because they want to continue charging Americans high prices. So Big Pharma is the one that's really against what the president is doing because it's helping you and me. Fascinating is when we watch a bit what's going on in the election right now. This one just baffles me how the elections can be supposedly very close, but Joe Biden has a little bit of a problem understanding what's going on in the world right now, not by my dislike for his policy. I don't know the man, so I can't say I dislike him or like him, but I can tell you one thing for sure. You got to wonder when he's running for president of the United States and continually tells people that he's running for the United States Senate. So he's doing that on the campaign trail. Then he doesn't know who he ran against in the last election. Yes, he was running as vice president when he ran with President Obama against Mitt Romney. He referred to him as, that Mormon guy from Utah. Is that how we refer to people? Is that how you refer to a candidate like that? I just fascinating me. Now, I am going to tell you, I am not a medical doctor, don't have a degree, don't play one on TV. But I did watch my dad suffer with cognitive issues. Yeah, they look very, very familiar to what we're seeing from the man who could be president of the United States. You just watch that and you say, is that who we want to have control? You might tell the military to attack the wrong country, right? I mean, and I know that sounds far-fetched, but it is something to worry about. Johnson & Johnson, they had to stop their COVID-19 vaccine study due to illness, according to a report. Now, you hear a lot of the news saying, well, they're playing this as if it's a major issue. We don't know if it's a major issue because we don't even know if the person that got sick is taking the live drug or the placebo, right? In these drug tests, you have a control group taking placebos. You have a group taking the live drug. And if any of them have any kind of a reaction, then they pause the study, figure out what's going on, and then they determine whether the study is, if it's the drug or if it's some other cause. We've already seen that with one of the drugs. I think it's an AstraZeneca drug in the UK. They paused the study and continued it on because they found that the information, it wasn't a problem. It wasn't related. It wasn't an issue right there. So watch out for these commentary where they're politicizing everything right now. Yeah, I know we're only about 22 days away from the election, so that is a big component of what's going on. Everything has to be politicized. Unbelievable. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the strategy of the frozen credit card. Do you have enough money saved for a down payment? Elder fraud, 5 ways to protect the ones you love, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you, but the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Real Estate Radio is hosted by local real estate and finance expert Ron Siegel. The purpose of this show is to help consumers understand what's really going on in our local real estate market. We're teaching you the why and the how-to, so you'll always be one step ahead of everyone else. Whether you need to sell your home for top dollar, refinance and save money, or even buy a bargain in Southern California, Ron Siegel can help. Call Ron directly at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Take advantage of speaking with Ron anytime you're entering a real estate transaction. Having someone who can answer all of your questions that truly cares about you and your family's best interest is priceless. Call Ron Siegel today and you'll be glad you did. 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or you can visit realestateradio.com for more info.
Blue Water Credit Repair is the industry leader in fixing bad credit. Did you know a 40-point increase in your credit score can save you $40,000 on a home loan and $4,000 on a car loan? You deserve good credit and peace of mind. Take the first step today and go to bluewatercredit.com and register for a free consultation from one of their credit repair experts. That's bluewatercredit.com.
Dreaming of your retirement does not include losing your house. However, due to today's lower stock market, higher medical bills, and taxes, many retirees face this very problem. This is why it is necessary that you, as a baby boomer considering retirement within the next 10 years, understand reverse mortgages and what one could do for you or your parents. A reverse mortgage could make it possible for you or your parents to travel, buy a second home, or start a new business. For more information about reverse mortgages, just call our off-air number at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit realestateradio.com and click the free workshop button.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed rate below 3.5% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $300,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,300 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed to NMLS ID 217037. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star, they've got the programs and the products. You got the phone. Make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Dow Jones now down 107 points. NASDAQ is down just a little bit, under a point. S&P 500, that one is down as well. We're watching all of them for you, down 10.68. We're looking at the 10-year Treasury. That's down 3 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities, they're down 3 basis points. Holy cow, everything is showing as red right now. Pretty unusual when we see the yield, the interest rate on the 10-year Treasury and the bond price on the mortgage-backed security in opposite directions. So we're in the same direction. I mean, the yield would be up right now on the 10-year Treasury, down. Got it backwards, easy for me to say. Yield is down on the 10-year Treasury and up on the mortgage-backed security, but they're all so little. Doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot right now. It's pretty much, you could say it's flat. It'd be a good commentary. So what is the cause of all of this? Big news of the day was inflation. Consumer Price Index, which measures inflation on the consumer level, came in at 0.2% in the month of September. The year-over-year reading increased from 1.3 to 1.4. Core reading, which strips out food and energy prices, also increased by 0.2% month over month, and the year-over-year reading remained stable at 1.7%. The inflation readings were held down by rents. Rents make up 40% of the Consumer Price Index, CPI index, and continue to move lower due to COVID. Rents are rising 2.7% across the U.S., which is down from the 2.9%. The medical care index rose 4.5% from last year, which is unchanged from the previous report. The NFIB Small Business Optimism Index rose 3.8 points in September to 104, which is the best level since February. The focal point of the report was those expecting higher selling prices, which jumped by 12 points to 13, which is most since January and could point to future inflation. CoreLogic reported their loan performance insights for the month of June, showing that 6.6% of mortgages were 30 days or more delinquent, down from 7.1% last month. Loans 60 to 89 days past due dropped from 1.8 to 1%. Loans that are seriously delinquent or 90 days or more increased from 3.4 to 4.1%. Homes in foreclosure remain stable at 0.3%. Still seeing elevated levels on 30-day delinquencies, but they are trending in the right direction. Here are a lot of companies coming out and starting to talk about the idea of a wave of foreclosures coming. Well, I'm going to be the first one to tell you it's not going to happen. Why? And why could I be so certain that it's not going to happen? Well, it's pretty simple. When do people let their properties go to foreclosure? If there's no benefit to them doing something different. We are a society that goes based on, hey, what's in it for me? Well, here's the answer to the question. The idea is it's no benefit for you to let a property go to foreclosure right now. Got some feedback coming in through here, guys. So why would that? How do you determine if there's a benefit to it to go into foreclosure? The bottom line is if the property has equity, which most properties right now have a significant amount of equity. If there is equity in the property, why would you let it go to foreclosure? Right? You're not going to do that. You're going to make sure you take care of your property. You're not going to let a property with equity get foreclosed upon. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to refinance it. I'm going to do something, but I'm not going to let it go to foreclosure. Why? Because you have equity. You want to make sure that that equity comes back to you. You want to preserve that for your family. And it doesn't cost you anything. If you're going to go to foreclosure, it's going to hurt you for a long time. But when you let that savings go and sell it, you get the equity. You get the property removed from your credit report, so you don't have a foreclosure there. You have the opportunity to go and do something that's what in your family's best interest. It's not in your family's best interest to let a property go to foreclosure. That's not what's going to be best for you, for your family. So I'm just going to share with you that with so many properties, I think there's the vast majority of properties have equity, right? There's a huge percentage, 30 or 40% of properties have no mortgage at all. And I think the amount of properties that have under 10% equity is probably, a very small number. And the cost of selling a property is about 8%, give or take, by the time you talk about the real estate commissions and the fees and everything else that's involved. So if you can sell your property, why would you let it go to foreclosure? Does not make any sense. So I'm just going to tell you right here, right now, you heard it first, Ron Siegel Radio, that foreclosure wave that they're talking about that gathers headlines, that's what it's for. It's just to gather headlines, right? And, that's the idea when they're trying to sell something. They're trying to sell either their article, they're trying to get clicks, whatever that might be. That's what the purpose is of some of these headlines, whether it's right or wrong. Everybody can come out with a prediction, right? I just did. Right, I just told you there's a logical reason why there will not be a major foreclosure boom coming up. The other part of it is look at what's going on with the banks. The banks don't want the properties either, right? They're bending over backwards through the CARES Act to do what they can to help people. The FHFA is doing what they can to help people. The time when the foreclosure mess or the foreclosure option really expires. Now, a lot of people don't understand this. What happened, the CARES Act, basically in the FHFA and the Housing and Urban Development, they basically said anybody that can fog a mirror can get a 6-month forbearance on their mortgage. Okay? But if you have cause, you can get an additional 6 months. So we know there's about 25 million people out of work right now. I don't know how many of those are renters or how many of them are owning properties. But those that own properties, that's a great cause to say, something, I need that extra 6 months. Now, there's some of the properties that went into forbearance in March and April. Those are coming up on that 6-month window. We know that I reported this to you last week, some of those people already started making their payments again. Those that are still having problems, they still haven't got a job, they're not back to work, California, right? Because some of the states haven't opened, California, right? They can go back and say, something, I need that extra 6 months for cause they get it. So if they went in and started their forbearance maybe in April, well, you're looking at April of 2021. What happens in April of 2021? Well, we're at the spring selling season. Hopefully all the pandemic issues will be behind us. But we're at the spring selling season at that point. That's when a lot of people go out there and start buying. Now, again, the lenders don't want the properties. If they see that you are actively attempting to remedy the forbearance, do you think they're going to want to go through all the work of foreclosing? I can't give you any guarantees. That's not what we do on Ron Siegel Radio. I wouldn't mislead you. But the likelihood of them trying to foreclose on the property is going to be much slimmer because they don't want it. They see that you've got an active listing with a legitimate realtor. They're going to go through their valuation model, see is it listed at a compelling price, a price that makes sense, that it's going to get activity. We know that properties are selling in about 22 days right now. So why wouldn't they work with you when it's going to take them 90 or 120 days, if everything goes correctly, to go through a court process if it has to go through a court proceedings in foreclosure, right? So these things, think about the total package, right? Don't just go with the headline that says massive foreclosures are on the horizon. No, it's not going to happen. And look at the demand out there for people that want property. If you want to put a piece of property up for sale right now, it's going to get a lot of activity because there are so many people out there looking to buy a home. Just throw that out there for you, give you that information. I want you to be aware of where the marketplace is. Don't just go and listen to the first Yahoo that comes out and has an opinion because they can write a blog post, and that blog post gets picked up by somebody who wants to get a bunch of clicks. Why do they want the clicks? Because they make money on those clicks. They put the advertisements on the side of the page. You see the advertisement. It shows an impression. The impression says, okay, you get to pay the bill, right? That's just the way it works. So be aware of these things. Think about the concept here. And as always, I ask you, just give us a call again at 800-306-1990. We'll give you all the straight information. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, yes, the frozen credit card strategy, we'll talk about it. Do you have enough money saved for a down payment? 5 ways to protect the ones you love from elder fraud, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter at Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Hi, we're here with Ron Siegel, the host of Real Estate Radio. Ron, welcome to the studio. Give us insight as to what your show is all about.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me that question. The reason we developed Real Estate Radio is right now there is an abundance of misinformation out there. So Real Estate Radio is a show designed to give Southern California a focal point for their real estate knowledge, as well as a place to go just in case they might need anything real estate related.
So how are you helping people?
That's actually pretty simple. People need advice. So it really doesn't matter who you are. If you have any real estate questions, we're here to help. Whether you're buying a home, selling, you're experiencing a loan modification, short sale, foreclosure, there are a lot of things going on in this marketplace.
How can people get a hold of you?
Real easy. All you have to do is call. The number is 1-800-306-1990. Press option 1.
Interesting times in the market right now. Where do you think the markets are going from here?
That's a great question. All I can say is this. The housing market came down one house at a time, and what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to build it one house, one family at a time. So the best thing that anyone can do is access the free advice that we really want to give you. And to do that, you simply need to call me. The number is 1-800-306-1990, option 1. I'd really love to help.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you paying rent because you think you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you renting because you don't believe that you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? The Siegel lending team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel lending team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com, licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed rate below 3.5% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $300,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,300 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel lending team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed to NMLS ID 217037. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564, SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. The digest has all the information the county recorder knows about your property. It has all the information that the market believes about your property, and it's free. I love that idea. It's free. Do you have enough money saved for a down payment is our subject today. One of the biggest misconceptions for first-time home buyers is how much you'll need to save for a down payment. Contrary to popular belief, you don't always have to put 20% down to buy a house. Here's how it breaks down. A recent survey by Point2 Homes mentions that 74% of millennials, those are the people ages 25 to 40, say they're interested in purchasing a home over the next 12 months. The study notes 88% say they have significantly less savings than the average national down payment amount, which is $62,600. Thankfully, $62,600 is not the amount every buyer needs for a down payment in the United States. There are many different options available, especially for first-time home buyers, millennial or not. That amount can also be significantly less depending on the purchase price of the house. According to the National Association of Realtors, NAR, the median existing home price for all housing types in August was $310,600. These are the latest numbers available. NAR also indicates that, quote, in 2019, the median down payment was 12% for all buyers, 6% for first-time buyers, and 16% for repeat buyers. So think about that concept. You're not having to put 20% down. Very few people are putting 20% down because there's a price break at 25, if there's a price break at 40, or those that want to just get in the game, and I highly recommend that idea. Get in the game. Get in the game for 3.5%. Or if you are a military person, one of our Navy members whose birthday it is today, thank you. Well, you don't even have to worry about having the 3.5% that is required for an FHA loan. You can actually do that with no money down. USDA loans, those are no money down. Think about all these concepts where you can get into a property. So if a qualified first-time buyer purchases a home today, median price $310,000. Remember, that is a national number. That is not Orange County, California, right? But there are some areas that you can get a $310,000 home with 6% down. In reality, the down payment only amounts to $18,636. And that's nowhere close to the $62,600. Knowing there are also programs like FHA where the down payment can be as low as 3.5% of purchase price for a first-time buyer. That upfront cost could be significantly less, maybe as little as $10,000 or $11,000 for the same home noted above. There are also other programs like USDA and loans for veterans that waive down payment requirements. That means zero. Think about that, veterans. The down payment for a veteran to buy a house is less than it would be for you to lease a house. The Point2 Home study also shares how much millennials have indicated they've saved for a down payment. As we can see, again, I've got a graph. I didn't even pull the graphs up today. 39% have already saved enough for a down payment on a median-priced home. Another 47% are close to reaching that goal, depending upon the purchase price of the home. Think about some of these numbers. Unfortunately, the lack of knowledge about the home buying process is keeping many motivated first-time buyers on the sidelines. That's why it's important to contact a local real estate professional, yours truly is happy to help, to to understand the requirements in your local area if you want to buy a home. Think about this. We didn't even talk about down payment assistance. There are down payment assistance programs that'll give you as much as 5% toward the down payment of a home. Think about that. On a $500,000 home, that could be $25,000. You have to qualify for it. I get it. But the idea is there's ways of getting into real estate, ways to get into properties without having 20% down. Why would you? I mean, Orange County, think about this. 20% down is $160,000 saved. Who do you think has $160,000 saved for a first-time purchase? Now, we do see that when people are rolling from one property to another. Yeah, they've got that money because they own real estate. They've been buying and saving money. They've been accumulating the valuation for their real estate. So yes, they have that 20% down payment or 25% down payment because they're going from one property to another, because they've got in the game. Now, speaking of getting in the game, I ran this scenario for somebody just a little bit ago, and I wanted to share this with you because it's an issue about buying power. Right? Because there is a big, big difference in what the buying power is in today's marketplace versus normal buying power. So I ran this and was looking, okay, today if you buy a house, say 3.5% down, 3.5% down, or 3.5% interest, 3.5% interest. Do you know what the norm is if you look at like the last 30 years on interest rates? I'm sure it's somewhere over 6.5%, but I use 6.5 just to be safe. Your buying power goes from $415,000 down to $322,000. If interest rates start going up again and you wait, what we call this is a cost of waiting analysis, rent versus buying analysis. And I can do this for any area that you want to look at. But the cost of waiting, if interest rates go up, it's going to cost your purchase power is very significant. You lose a lot of purchasing power. You lose more purchasing power by interest rates going up than your down payment issue. Think about that concept. Most people think that the most important part about the real estate transaction is what is the price of the property? Well, when you're selling property, price is a big issue. When you are buying property, strategy is the big issue. Strategy beats rate always. Why? Because if you get the right home loan strategy, you're going to end up making more money. You're going to get a bigger benefit to your property. You're going to get a bigger benefit to the product. Think about this. If you understand that, you know something, I had somebody just the other day that said they were going to put 23.5% as their down payment because they came up with a round number, right? So they had a $217,000 condominium they're buying out in the desert. They're going to put $50,000 down. I said, $50,000, you know something, I understand it's a nice round number, but that's not a good strategy, right? So you want to either go with a 20% down payment, which would be $43,400, maybe use some of that other money to buy down the interest rate, saving the balance of it, or go with a 25% down payment, which is $4,000 more. It wasn't a huge amount. When you're putting down $50,000, $4,000 more was doable for this person, right? So $4,000 more saves on an interest rate because that's where a price break is on the interest rate tables, the loan level price adjustments. So you don't have to understand loan level price adjustments. But if you just call up and if you just sent that transaction over and put it through onto one of these online platforms and just went through and said, okay, I want to do $50,000 down, $217,000 purchase, they're going to say, fine, it's going to run right through the automated systems that they have. No one's going to look at it. No one's going to tell you that either put $4,000 more down or put some money less down and buy down the interest rates. What if you used $6,000? Think about this. About the most you can use to buy down an interest rate is 3%. Right? So think about this concept of using 3% additional to buy down your interest rate. Do you know what that's going to do to your rate on a $217,000 house if you were to go and say, okay, I'm going to put down 20% and I'm going to use the other money to buy down the interest rate? That could be done. right? So what is 20% on or 3% on that $217,000 purchase? Call it $6,000, $7,000, right? So think about what that's going to do for you. You're going to take your interest rate well down, and it's going to save you a good amount of change, right? So you're going to go from probably let's see if I can figure it out. Well, it's not showing up on my screen right now, but you're going to be able to save probably $200 a month. Okay, so now you say, okay, $6,000 on top of that $43,400 brings you right back to basically the same $50,000. But you know what you've done? You've changed strategy to save yourself money. Again, strategy beats rate always. A lot of people don't want to understand that. A lot of people won't tell you that because they don't understand it. The online systems don't understand it. So think about that concept as you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. So got a lot to cover today. The strategy of the frozen credit card, elder law, elder fraud, 5 ways to protect the ones you love, all that and more. You can reach me anytime, our off-air number. It's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation mortgage adoption plan. You be the judge if it's right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to map@ronsiegelradio.com or call today Ron Siegel 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporation and MLS 217037 and BCAL number 018694552.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Do you believe Southern California real estate is a great investment? Are you a little short to be a cash investor? Are you missing the Social Security card or tax returns? The Siegel Lending Team has the loans for you. Common Sense Lending is back. Yes, there's a cost to higher risk, but the reward can be great. Call today for details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 217037 and DRE number 1869452.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed rate below 3.5% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $300,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,300 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed to NMLS ID 217037. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by MySoCalLender.com, MySoCalLender.com. They've got it for you today. That is great information always. We love to bring you the credit information. That's one of the biggest segments that people talk to us about on the radio broadcast. 5 ways to protect the ones you love from elder fraud. In addition to being a passionate defender in the fight against identity theft and child fraud, I also really like to work for the elders because it's just crazy to me how many people try to scam the elders. So let's look at a couple of these things. Number one is to protect the ones you love. Number one, be proactive. The best time to assist older people with the financial affairs isn't when they fall ill or otherwise decline physically or mentally. It's long before that. As grandparents or parents get older, there should be a family conversation that includes them in developing a plan. Who will be given power of attorney? This task should be executed legally, including filing paperwork in the correct jurisdiction. Where are family members' financial accounts? If it's not possible to get this list, the elder's mail and previous tax returns could be very helpful. Who will manage a family member's accounts? Sometimes it's prudent to assign more than one person to this task for accountability and to reduce finger pointing if a bad investment decision is made. Should the elder's accounts be jointly held with the family member managing them? This streamlines administrative tasks. Schedule regular financial check-ins with the elder and other family member of the financial team to make sure you remain on the same page. Tip number 2, activate alerts. Keep an eye on the elder's accounts to receive alerts from banking and investment firms to apprise you instantly on unexpected or large transfers or if a balance falls below certain levels. Tip number 3, freeze credit. If the elder will not be applying for new credit cards or loans, consider a credit freeze. It's the same process I explained in a recent discussion. It's not very difficult to do. If you want to go back and look at one of our prior broadcasts, we'll talk about it. This will also help prevent others who may gain access to the elder's credit cards from requesting credit line increases. Tip number 4, be on the lookout for scams. Elderly people are typically considered to be among the more vulnerable segments of the population. Fraudsters exploit this. It just drives me batty how many people try to exploit the elderly. Right? Educate yourself on how criminals specifically target the elderly. Teach your loved one that elder fraud scams are and how to avoid them. I'm constantly talking to friends of ours. My parents are gone now, but I used to tell my mom about these different frauds. So be aware. Now I talk to friends of ours. And it's amazing how many times you hear, "Oh yeah, that happened to me." Educate. Since today's elders are not digital natives, probably include you taking the opportunity to show them what phishing text messages look like. Play a voicemail message from a travel awards scam if you get one. Make fraud discussions a regular occurrence since many pop up quickly, such as in the wake of COVID-19. Tip number 5, block solicitations. Register your elder's phone numbers on donotcall.gov to reduce the number of solicitations. I also like to go to optoutprescreen.com, optoutprescreen.com to get them registered. I even register myself on optoutprescreen.com because I don't want to get a lot of the solicitations. Help your elder understand how to be skeptical in unfamiliar callers who do get through. The good news is that you can start protecting your beloved elders today. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, just released the Elder Fraud Prevention and Response Network's Development Guide, an online resource to help communities, forums, collaborative networks to better prevent and respond to elder financial abuse. The guide offers useful planning tools, templates, and exercises. There are similar guides in other countries. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, again, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Go to mysocallender.com. We've got some great information there to share with you. Wanted to get to the conversation. I didn't want you to think I forgot you. the frozen credit card strategy. Frozen credit cards. It's unique to Ron Siegel Radio. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. So here's the concept. To increase your credit scores, the biggest percentage on your credit card is payment history. That's 35%. The next biggest is credit utilization. That's 30%. So between those two, you're looking at 65% of your FICO score comes out of payment history and credit utilization. Massive amount of your score. So think about this concept, and it's just a concept. There's a lot of ways of doing this, but think about this concept. And I get a lot of people that say, well, I don't want to have any credit cards, Ron. And I say, okay, that's great, but it's not going to help your FICO score. If you think about wanting to buy a house or buying a car on credit, if you're buying for cash, great. You don't need these things. If you're going on a trip, though, a rental car company, they're going to ask you for a credit card. Hotel's going to ask you for a credit card. You're going to go online to buy an airline ticket. They're going to ask you for a credit card. There's a lot of protections that you need for use credit cards for. So you want to have a great credit score. That's my recommendation to everybody. The best credit score you can possibly have. That's what you want to strive for. How do you do that? Well, I'm going to tell you the frozen credit card strategy. Basically, what you do is you have a credit card for every one of your recurring household debts. That'd be one card for the electric bill, one card for the gas bill, one card for the cell phone bill, one card for the home phone bill if you have one card for your internet bill if you have one of those, every one of these items. So just get a card for everything, each item. Okay, that's pretty simple right there so far, right? So you've got a card for every item. Now you go on to those specific items, those utilities, and set them up with an auto pay. So you're going to pay your electric bill every month or every other month, depending upon how often it comes out, right? So you're not doing anything different there, setting it up on auto pay. When you get the bill, go in and set up a payment to go right to the credit card company the day after that bill is due. Because don't forget, the credit card already paid it on time. So you can set that up to go in there right after that's due, right? So now you've only had that debt on your credit for a very, very, very short period of time. So then the next step here is you're going to go and you're going to do that for every item. Now that's going to get you 4 or 5 credit cards, 4 or 5 trade lines, as they call it, on your credit report. And those are going to always show as being active. The other part is they're going to always show as having a zero balance. So you've paid them. You're dealing with that on the 35% of your bill because you're always paying them on time. You're always using them, so the 30% of your bill is happy. And every month, the longer you go, the better it's going to be for you. You're going to get more and more activity on there. You're going to get more and more results. You're going to get a higher credit score. Now, when you first set this up, if you don't have all those credit cards in place, it might hinder your score for a little bit. Why? Because you got new credit. You have all this new credit showing up, right? Your length of credit, which is a smaller number, right? How long you've had credit. Okay, that's gonna be affected. Your inquiries are going to be affected, right? Think about that. But over time, 6 months, 12 months, you've got 5 credit cards, all active, all being used, all zero balances. Where does the frozen part come in? Well, a lot of people don't have discipline. They don't have self-control. So take those credit cards, put them in an envelope, put them in the back of your freezer. Yeah, just put them right there in the back of the freezer. Forget about them. You know where they are. They're safe, secure, right? If somebody breaks into your house, they're probably not going to check your freezer for valuables. Most people don't do that. I'm a little odd, so maybe it's me that does that, comes up with that concept. But the idea is you've got these credit cards constantly using, and they're constantly aging. Now, do not get rid of a credit card, even if you've got the great scores. I have people say, well, I've got this old credit card. They're charging me a lot of money for it, and I'm going to get rid of it. Well, just be aware that if you haven't had a strategy, right? And that's, again, where I come up with strategies are always important. If you haven't had a strategy for this, to deal with these things, well, you're going to probably find yourself in trouble. Why? Because you're going to get rid of an old card. That's going to bring your length or your history down as far as the aging of your credit cards. When that comes down, it just hurts your score, right? Because the Timing, how long you've had credit is a major component. How long you've been paying on time, that's a major component. All these things are the areas that I talk to you about every single day, is doing the things that are going to get your scores the highest. Because the higher your credit scores are, the lower your interest rate will be when you go to buy a house, when you go to buy a car, when you go to buy anything on credit. The higher the score, the more options you have. So the more options you have, the more competition there is for your business. The more competition there is for your business, again, guess what? That's when the interest rates start going down, because they realize you're the guy they cannot charge a high rate to, because you're going to go somewhere else. You have options. Just throwing that out there for you. Again, that's Your Credit Matters. Again, brought to you by my SoCalLender.com. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John and Sean, who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We will talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.